Okay, let's just dive right into this explainer. Today, we're looking at a surprisingly profound lesson that's totally hidden in a totally normal everyday conversation. And it's about cleaning bathroom fixtures. Yep, you heard me right, bathroom taps. You know, sometimes the absolute best insights into human psychology and how we form habits, well, they don't come from massive, dusty academic studies. They actually come from those simple, honest little exchanges we have right in our own homes. So we're going to explore this really fascinating short narrative called The Sparkle of Mundane Diligence. It does such a beautiful job of unpacking exactly why we struggle so much to keep up with good habits, and how just a tiny shift in perspective can literally change the whole shebang.
So I really want you to think about this for a second. We've all been there, right? You get that sudden, absolutely undeniable burst of motivation to just organize your entire life. You know exactly what I mean. You buy the fancy new planner, you swear you're going to wake up at 5 a.m. every single morning, or maybe you decide your workspace is going to be spotless from now on. You're super fired up. But then, almost predictably, that intense motivation is followed super quickly by the inevitable slump. The ambition just fizzles out completely. It's such a universal human experience, and our source text zeroes in on the exact mechanics of this whole cycle.
Our story kicks off with a young girl named Sumi. She comes home one day and she is completely obsessed with how perfectly shiny the taps were at a hotel she stayed at. And naturally, she wants to recreate that exact feeling of luxury right in her own house. I mean, we can totally relate to this. You stay somewhere nice, you see how immaculate everything is, and you're like, wait, why can't my life look exactly like this every single day? Sumi is hitting that initial spark of inspiration that basically triggers every new habit. She sees a desired outcome, those shiny taps, and she really wants it.
So she asks her mom the million-dollar question, why don't their home taps shine like the ones at the hotel? And Sumi's mom gives her a very grounded reality check. She points out that, hey, their home taps work perfectly fine without needing a daily polish. And she emphasizes that getting that hotel-level shine, that takes a ton of consistent effort. Which of course prompts Sumi to ask a pretty logical follow-up. Well then, why doesn't our domestic help just do it? And this is where Mama makes this brilliant distinction. She contrasts creating a really memorable experience with just keeping daily life functional. She explains that hotel staff are specifically trained to work in the background to make your stay incredibly comfortable and, well, memorable. But their household help, they're there to do the heavy lifting just to keep the house functional and running. It's basically the difference between basic maintenance and creating magic. So hearing this, Sumi gets fueled up by that initial burst of ambition we were just talking about, and she confidently decides, okay, I'm going to take on the polishing task myself. But of course, the shine inevitably wears off, bringing us to that dreaded one-week motivation slump. Let's see exactly what happens when Sumi actually puts her grand plan into action.
Okay, so this timeline is just too real. It perfectly captures that week one slump. Look at the sheer, unadulterated ambition of day one. She starts cleaning the taps in all 3 bathrooms, plus the kitchen, every single day. Guys, that is 4 sinks. By day 7, the taps are absolutely gleaming and Sumi is thrilled. Goal achieved, right? But then, look at day 8. She completely stops. Just stops entirely. She totally lost interest. The honeymoon phase of this shiny new habit just violently crashed right into the reality of doing something every single day.
Which leads us to the trap of external praise, and honestly, the real reason why we quit things. The big question is, why did Sumi stop keeping even just her own bathroom taps shiny? When her mom asks her, we get this incredibly fascinating peek into the psychology of giving up. Sumi lays out her roadblocks with just brutal honesty. First up, she realizes that doing simple things daily is actually not easy at all. Being consistent is way harder than just being intense for a little bit. Then she hits on the deeper issues. She's just not motivated anymore. She doesn't find it exciting, and, this is the big one, no one is appreciating her for it. She figures out that without the thrill of something new, or an audience to clap for her hard work, she simply has zero fuel left in the tank. She was running entirely on external validation and novelty. And, as we saw, both of those ran completely dry in exactly 7 days. So, Mama steps in and holds up this fantastic mirror to her daughter. She challenges Sumi by asking, "You're happy looking at the shiny taps. Why do you need others to appreciate it?" Wow, it's such a brilliant question. Mama is trying to nudge Sumi away from extrinsic motivation, doing things just for the applause, and push her toward intrinsic motivation, where you do something because the result actually brings you personal satisfaction. She's basically challenging her to realize that her own joy in seeing those shiny taps really should be enough of a reward. And that brings us to the secret to real diligence, actually finding joy in the mundane.
This is where we find the ultimate solution to that habit-forming slump we keep getting stuck in. Mama introduces this concept that we can call mundane diligence. She tells Sumi that if we can somehow train ourselves to find genuine excitement in the boring, mundane, everyday tasks, something magical actually happens. That level of discipline, it doesn't just keep your bathroom looking nice, it translates into making you better at literally everything else you do. Think about it. When you master the boredom of a super simple daily chore, you are building the exact same mental muscles you need to tackle complex, long-term life goals. It's a huge shift in perspective. The mundane chore isn't just a distraction from your real life, it's the actual training ground for it.
Now, to help Sumi actually make this mental leap, Mama offers this wonderfully whimsical idea. She tells Sumi to look at the taps differently. She says, think of the taps, won't they be happy to look sparkling clean every day and to know that they are cared for? By personifying the things she's cleaning, Mama takes this sterile, boring chore and turns it into an act of stewardship, an act of care. It takes all the focus off the hard work and puts it squarely on the positive impact being made, no matter how tiny it is.
But of course, life has a funny way of working out. Let's see what happens when the external praise Sumi wanted so badly finally shows up.
Literally right at that moment, Papa walks into the room, totally unprompted, totally oblivious to this deep philosophical chat that just went down. He casually says, "The taps look so clean nowadays." Boom, he delivers the exact validation Sumi had been craving all week long. And, as the text notes, this brings a massive, instant smile to her face, which is so ironic, right? Because the praise arrives literally the day after she threw in the towel. Not missing a beat, Mama seizes the comedic timing. She playfully tests the waters and actually tries to take the credit for the sparkling house, teasingly telling Papa that, oh yeah, she's the one who's been doing all the cleaning.
Well, Sumi absolutely leaps to protect her hard-earned credit. She instantly shoots back. No, Mama is lying. I do that, claiming total ownership of those shiny taps. It's such a great ending because it proves something important. Even though she complained, and even though she fully gave up on day 8, Sumi still deeply values the work she put in. She still feels that sense of pride and ownership over the outcome, even if the actual process was a bit of a struggle.
So, as we wrap up this explainer, I want you to take Mama's lesson and really apply it to your own life. Think about your daily routines. You know, those boring, repetitive chores that you just dread every single week. How can you transform those from frustrating obligations into deliberate, mindful acts of care? Whether it's doing the dishes, tackling your messy inbox, or, even wiping down a bathroom sink. What mundane task are you going to choose to find the sparkle in today? Because mastering that boring little thing might just be the secret to becoming better at absolutely everything else.